Okay, hi there. In this video, I'm going to cover how to basically create a page using Visual Composer. So it will have different elements, and I'll try to create page by page, or rather section by section. Okay, so let's now start with the home page here, which you can see. I'm going to just delete all the content here and start from the fresh. Okay, so as you can see here, this is like an entire row. Let's just start with something blank so you understand. Okay, now whenever you create a new page, as you can see here, it says Visual Composer. This is what you need to watch out for. And now it says welcome to blank page, you have no content. In my other videos I'll show you how to actually import the demo content and then start changing it, but here on for this video I'm going to actually show you how to create a page from the scratch. So now if you update this page and go to the front end, okay, as you can see it is now empty, and I'm also going to get rid of this logo here at the bottom because it is distracting. So for that I'm going to get into theme options and branding. Here I'm going to go for this section where it says bottom bar. I'm going to remove this logo and save. Once you refresh, you can see that the bottom logo is no longer visible. So now let's start building the page here. The basics that you need to understand is, first of all, you need to create a new row here. So by default, as you can see, the row here is full width, and you should also keep this disabled unless the sidebar is required. The sidebar could be either placed on the right panel or on the left panel based on the client requirement, and here you should always go for this, and I'll tell you about the other sections later. So let's now focus on how to build the page. So once you have created a row, it can be easily split into different columns. So let's first start with a full row. Here you're going to basically add some text. Whatever you want to add inside the row is really up to you based on how the design needs to be, but just to show you how it all works. So here you can see there is some dummy content. I advise you use this option here. It has got plenty of options. So let's say for example you set it to zoom in and save. Okay, and now if you click update, let's check what happens in the front end. As you can see, the content here has popped up using the CSS animation that I have selected. Let's now make it more professional. So now I'm going to basically break it into, let's say, 3 sections. As you can see here, it has created 3 columns. Here I'm going to basically copy the same text block twice, and I'm going to drag it here and here so that all the columns are complete, and I'm going to click update. Okay, because we have the same text and we have selected the same animation, it's going to pretty much look the same. So as you can see now, there are 3 text blocks, and I want to make sure that there is enough space between each section here. So the basics of design is something which I'm sure you understand, but again I'm going to tell you, initially you always need to have some kind of a heading title so that it signifies what you are trying to explain to the end customer. So for that, what I'm going to do is create a new row, and it obviously needs to be placed on top of this. So for that, what I'm going to do is hold this here and drag it upwards. So now this row is on the top, and I'm going to go inside and I will select custom heading, which you can see here. Here I'm going to basically define what would be the title. Then if you want to link this title, this option is there, but I think it's needless for now. Okay, H2 is what we are going to use for now, and I'm going to make it left aligned. For the font size, let's say I'm going to come up with 35, because if you add something which is higher than 35, it will not look good on mobile, it will actually break down. And the text color, let's say I'm going to pick this for now. For the font, I always go for Oswald, which is like a pretty professional font. Here I'm going to pick light regular, save. You can even create animation for this section. So just to go back, So to do that you need to okay, here it's not showing the animation option. So for such things what you need to do is go to edit row. If you don't find animation option in the actual element, you can then go to the edit row section here, and there is an option here for you to define the animation. So save it. Now we need to have some spacing between both these sections so they don't appear too close to each other. So what I'm going to do is I'll use this column, or rather I'll use this plus here, which tells the composer to add something under the heading. Here I'm going to go for empty space. Here it is. So it says 32 pixels, which is okay. I would want to make sure that this is same between all the rows, all the different rows that we are going to add. So here I'm going to click update. Let's now see the front end. Okay, as you can see now, this has nicely popped up and it looks pretty professional. Now, like we have three text blocks here. We need to add either an icon or image, to signify what they really are. For now, what I'll do is I'll go for an icon here on the top of this particular block. Here you will see an option called icon. There are plenty of options, so over a period of time I'm sure you'll understand what kind of icons are to be used for different sections. Here I'm going to basically click on this. Okay, for now I'll select this one, and I'm going to, let's say, keep white because I want to have a background circle, and I'm going to give a color to this circle here. I'll go for this blue. Size could be large, the alignment can be center, and the same logic here. If you want to link it to some inner page, you can do it. Here I'm going to again select the animation, top to bottom. Okay, now I'm going to basically create a couple of duplicates. I'm going to place them here, and then I need to go and change the icon so that all of them look different. I would rather not change the color because it will look consistent. If we keep adding too many colors, I think it will not look professional unless the client asks you to do that. So here I'm going to change the icon to something else. I'll go for this for now. We can also change the animation by selecting something else other than what I've selected for the first icon. Again, in this particular module we are going to change the icon so that it is unique. I will go for maybe this one. Save. Okay, now let's update this. As you can see now, 3 icons here are showing up, and like I told, if you want you can change the color, or you can just remove the background shape and you can just keep it standalone. So just to show you how it works, for this particular icon I'm going to remove the circle border. Here I'm going to say the background shape will be none, so the icon color obviously needs to be visible, and I'm going to just select the same blue here because the actual background of the content is white. You can't have the white icon, right? So here I'm going to save it, click update. So as you can see now, this is a standalone icon which doesn't have any background. There are some other options I think which you can try out. So for this section, I think they're pretty much done. Now if you want to, let's say, assign a color to this entire row here which you see, for that what you need to do is click on edit row and then go into background. Here you can select single color and just change it to something like this, and make sure it is full width. Click save, then click update. If you don't select full width, it will look a bit odd, so it's important that you always declare the width as full. So as you can see now, here it is nicely showing the background, but as you can see it is right on the top, so we need to give some spacing here. What I would do is I'll actually create a copy of this here, and I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to make it like 16 pixels instead of 32, which is like half of what it is currently. Then I will create 2 more copies of the same, and I'll place them here. So once this part is done, you can see that there is enough space between the top section and the section where the content starts. As you can see now, there is some space here. Okay, now if you want to make it like 2 columns instead of 3, all you need to do is go into this section here and make it 2, and then you need to remove the additional section which is not needed. So if it is, for example, this section which you don't need, you then need to delete this. You also need to delete the icon. Then you need to delete the duplicate space here. So now everything is set. We're going to update and then refresh it. Okay, as you can see now, there are 2 text blocks here, and let's just delete this icon and see how it's going to look, because as you can see in the front end, this one seems to be a bit upwards and this is like a bit downwards. I think that might be due to the background shape. Let's see. Right, so now it looks more consistent here. If you actually check it on the mobile, as you can see, it looks pretty aligned. Right, so now let's say you make it a totally black or some other background. It's always important to make sure that you change the color of the text so that it is visible. So now let's go into this section here again. Let's change the background to something which is more dark. Here I'm going to, let's say, go for black. It's quite obvious that you won't be able to see the text here because it's also in black. So for that, what you need to do is go to the text block like I've done here, select the entire text and then change the color to white so that it is visible. Once you do that, as you can see here, the white content is not available, but you know where you need to change it. So when you put your mouse over here and you don't see anything, it means it is something which is in white, and this is like a text block, so there is a white text here. Okay, so I'm going to do the same for this section also. It's always important for you to define the right color combinations so that all the elements are looking professional and they are visible without any distractions. So here I'm going to click update. Let's now see what the output is going to be. Right, as you can see here, it looks pretty decent. Now as you can see on the top, there is some space, whereas you don't find any space here. So I always go by consistency. So here you have like empty space on the top. What I would do is I would just make a copy of it and put it right under the text block. I'll do the same for this section as well, so that there is enough a space between the top and bottom, both are like consistent. So I'm going to refresh this. So as you can see now, there is proportionate padding between the top and the bottom sections. The best part of this theme is it's highly customizable and there are countless options. So it's important you start following my videos and then keep trying out new things so that you really excel in whatever you're going to do, which is what will make you a better designer or developer. So now let's say you want to make this one centered. For that, all you need to do is go into the custom heading section, and here the alignment was selected to left. Just make it center, click save and then update. Whenever you want to select any specific color for the heading, always follow a golden rule. You should pick the color from the logo, whether it is like one color or 2 colors. Just pick one of the colors, so the logo color, and then use it here. So in that case, what you need to do here, for example, the logo is in blue. For you to be able to find out the specific color code which is used here, all you need to do is just click on save image, save it here, like open Photoshop, and then open the file, browse to this section here. Okay, open the logo. So once the logo is here, you need to